When my dad and Nancy got together, Ashley was 4 and I was 10. I would have my friends come over to the house and we'd be like, Ashley, come dance. So, I would get her up to shake her booty and do all the fun stuff, dancing. And
whenever she came to stay at my apartment, she always wanted the same breakfast: eggs, bacon, and cinnamon toast. It was like a little ritual, and she was such a quiet and shy little thing. She was precious.
Me and Ashley would always go camping with our grandparents, and one thing we would always look forward to is looking for boys, and we would just go get all our makeup on. And
I remember this one day she was like, I want to record us doing something stupid on my phone. So we're like, okay. The music's playing and we start dancing. Me, her, all our coworkers are on their phone just dancing and laughing and being stupid. And she was just really, really fun, just all the time. Like, even her sad moments she tried to make happy.
And her favorite color was pink as she became into her later teen years. She was so quiet, and then after she went through puberty and got into her later teen years, she just blossomed, and we were amazed at all her accomplishments. She belonged to this service corps in high school, and she went to the homeless, where you sleep in the boxes all night in any kind of weather, and it was a community outreach program that she belonged to. She was like a quiet powerhouse that was starting to become a very productive human being as a young adult. She was very determined, very hardworking. She went to school. She went to Owens Technical College for a couple years, and then she transferred to Stotzenberger, and she worked 2 jobs. And
live, laugh, love. That was her motto in life. She just wanted to live life and have fun, and be around her family and friends, and just that was Ash.
Ashley told me she was pregnant. I think I was the first to find out, other than her boyfriend. She was nervous, but she was so excited. Couldn't wait to get the news out.
She was proud of her belly. She took a lot of pictures of her own belly. She took a lot of pictures of herself. We kept finding pictures of her in the mirror, snapping her picture of her belly, standing sideways. She wasn't that big. She was so tiny, and she only had she was only 5.5 months pregnant,
But she was engaged, and she was excited, and we couldn't be anything but excited for her.
On Facebook, she put on how many weeks she had left, to how many days she had left. She was just very excited about the baby.
She knew in her heart she was having a boy.
Yep.
She didn't know
Yep.
from an ultrasound or anything. She just knew in her heart she was having a boy.
The baby's name was going to be Stephen Matthew Knightsky. It's my dad's first name, then her dad's middle name, and then my last name. Ashley dropped me off at work. We kissed goodbye. I went into work at about 10:30.
We were texting, meeting for lunch. We were supposed to meet by 12, but my truck didn't have any gas, so I sent her this big old text message about how I'm going to go get my check and do all this, and I'll call her when I get done. Then I went to go get my check, and I text her, are you ready to go? And she never texted me back.
I was just working, and then one of the maintenance guys said there was a really bad car accident down on 295 in Airport. I didn't think anything of it, but he started talking about it more and more, and then I asked him, I was like, so what kind of vehicle was it? He said it was some kind of SUV. It was like a dark green SUV. Well, our SUV was a dark green, so I tried calling Ashley for about 2 hours straight, and then I finally just went on break and drove down there, and I asked one of the officers, because I couldn't even tell it was our vehicle. It was so banged up, and I asked one of the officers if they knew the name of the person in the car accident, and they wouldn't tell me anything. So they made me turn as I was driving away. Ashley used to have this pink crate that she would carry all of her school books in. Well, I kind of looked back in my mirror, and I seen that pink crate. I was going to turn around and head back up there to find out what was going on. By that time, my dad called me and said I needed to come home, that there's some people there that want to talk to me. And then that's when I found out that Ashley passed away. I always feel my heart just sink. I didn't know what to do. I asked about the baby, and they said there wasn't nothing they could do. since she was 20 weeks pregnant at the time, 20 weeks and 4 days.
I received a text message from a girl that I don't talk to ever saying, "I'm sorry to hear about your cousin that was pregnant. I heard she got into an accident." And I had no idea what she was talking about at all. And my heart dropped. I instantly panicked. And I didn't believe it. I was like, I just talked to Ashley last night. There's no way that's possible. I couldn't get through to her phone. And so I tried calling Jeffrey's phone. And I called him 4 or 5 times. And I finally got through. And I'm like hysterical on the phone. I'm like, "Jeffrey, what's going on? Is Ashley okay? Where's Ashley?" And he just was silent on the phone. He couldn't say it. It was so hard for him to say. And he finally said, "Ashley's gone." And I lost it. And I'm at work, hysterical crying down the halls at work. And
I just remember getting a phone call from Brittany, my daughter. She was just screaming hysterically. And I couldn't quite make out what she was saying, but I gathered part of it was Ashley's gone. Or Ashley's dead, something of that nature. And she decided to call Jeffrey or somebody else so she could find out maybe more of the story. As soon as I got the phone with her, I called my wife.
My cell phone rang and I didn't get to it, and then my work phone rang and we have caller ID, and it was Rich, and my heart stopped because he never calls my work phone, and then he was crying hysterically, Ashley's gone, and we didn't know what was going on, and we didn't know if it was true. And so I called my mom. My mom didn't know anything. My sister's not allowed to have a cell phone, and we all called her probably 50 times and she didn't answer her phone. So my mom knew her work number and called my sister.
The big boss of the company says, "Hey Nance, can you come down in my office for a minute?" And I walked down into the room, and she was standing there and she was shaking and she was crying, and I'm like, "What's wrong?" She's like, "Nancy Ashley was in a car accident and she passed away, or she's dead, or deceased," or I can't remember exactly the words. And I just started screaming. Just screaming like, "No." I knew it wasn't a lie because that's something you don't joke around with. And her reaction, and my boss and a couple other people were comforting me and telling, and then all I could think about was calling Mike.
And when I picked up the phone, I heard her in the background crying her eyes out, and her friend saying, "Ashley's dead." And I just lost it. I dropped right there, and right where I was standing in my locker.
The phone call came probably around 3:30, and I was very confused who was on the other end of the phone. I guess it was Nancy, and she sounded, of course, very strange. She already had been broken the news, and right away I thought maybe Ashley lost the baby. I could tell something was very wrong. And then somebody else grabbed the phone and took it from Nancy and got on the phone and said, "This is Nancy's boss. Ashley's been in an automobile accident and she's dead." It was very brutal. And I said, "What?" I thought I didn't hear this right. This is craziness. What in the world? And I said, "What are you talking about?" And she repeated it, and I stood up and I took the phone and I threw it down on my desk because I couldn't absorb this information. I ran down through the office and down the hall just yelling, "No, no." I couldn't stop yelling, "No, no." It just couldn't be possible.
I was getting all excited to celebrate my daughter's first birthday. Her birthday's Halloween, and the day of the accident is the 30th, so the day before. decorating my house, all excited, you know, first birthday. I had the whole house decorated in Halloween decorations. And then Nancy called me, which is Ashley's mom. And I answered the phone, and I'm all excited. I'm like, the house is decorated, and I hear Ashley's dead. My first instincts were, what are you talking about? And she just saying, Ashley's dead, Ashley's dead. And it dropped me to my knees right away. There was no, second thought. Just dropped me to my knees. And I was like, this isn't right. You know, I was crying. I was trying to stay calm. My oldest daughter, Michaela, was 6 at the time. And that was her Aunt Ashley. And I went in the house. I didn't want to be around her. And she overheard, and she said, what did you say, Mommy? You said Ashley's dead. And I just looked at her, and for a 6-year-old to start screaming and crying is even harder. So I had to explain to her. I got on the phone, I called Brittany, I called Krista, I tried calling Ashley over and over and over. You know, this isn't true. This can't be happening to us. Our family's we're good people. Everybody in my family is a good person. This can't happen to us. We ended up at Nancy's in my dad's house, and everybody was there outside waiting. It was just a cloud, I think, at that time. Nobody really was sure what was going on, and we were all sitting around the house trying to figure out, you know, where is Ashley? This isn't, you know, she's gone. She's just away. She's not answering her phone. And then we seen the news, and we seen her vehicle. And I think maybe at that point it sunk in a little bit.
On Friday, October 30th, 20-year-old Ashley Snyder of Swanton was driving on Airport Highway when her vehicle slammed into the back of a semi. The semi was stopped and waiting to turn onto Berkey Southern Road. Emergency crews pronounced Snyder dead on the scene. Her sister later searched through Snyder's cell phone.
The accident happened at 12:25. The text message came in at 12:22. So she may have been looking down, reading the text message, then looking up and looking back down, and the last time she looked up, it was too late.
I miss my Aunt Ashley.
5-year-old Michaela Griesinger is wearing her aunt's sweater today because exactly 2 weeks ago, she died in a car crash.
I'm not 100% sure, only she knows what happened that day, but deep down, I think that she was reading a text message.
The time of the accident was estimated between 12:23 and 12:24, and her last text message received in her phone was at 12:23. And it all made sense then that she was texting, and it was a really long message.
After we watched the news clip, because I heard them say texting and driving on the news, so then that's when I looked at my phone, and they said the time that it happened, and my long old text message about I have to go get my check so I can put gas in my truck, and all this long text, and that was the last text that I sent right before.